Don't let one bad leg haunt your parlay. Parlays turn into payouts, and now even near misses won't haunt your bet. The NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is rewriting the rules with Ghost Leg, a new game-changing promotion that turns close calls into cold, hard cash. Best of all, it's available to all DraftKings customers. Here's how it works. Build any 3+ leg pregame NFL parlay on Sunday, apply your Ghost Leg token, and if one leg loses, DraftKings makes it vanish like it never existed and pays you out in cash for the rest. Last season, over 30 million parlays were lost by a single leg. This year, Ghost Leg gives those busted bets a second life. No more busted parlays that haunt you all season. With Ghost Leg, the bad leg vanishes. The payout doesn't. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PFF. That's code PFF to unlock Ghost Leg, the promotion that makes one bad leg disappear and pays you out in real cash. Ghost your losses, get your payout in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Jaguars and Bengals. All right, this is 1-0 versus 1-0. Starting 2-0 sounds pretty nice, especially if you're a Bengals fan and they haven't started off 1-0 in a while. So how do the Bengals do it? What are you focusing on here with the Cincinnati Bengals and previewing this game?
So I think it's funny for the Bengals because we mentioned this on the grade release show that this game in Cleveland they just played. I would throw out all the numbers from it. I just think anytime they go to Cleveland, the statistics are going to be what they are. If they get out alive with a win, then fine, so be it. The 1-0 feels good as any other scenario, right? I think what intrigues me on this side of the ball of the Bengals offense versus the Jags defense is just the way that Anthony Campanile is using his personnel on defense, right? And we saw this against Carolina this past week. So we talk about all the time, nickel's the new base. Everybody's got 5 defensive backs on the field all the time, and you can see the structure of the Jags defense is a little bit weird. They're actually going with 6 defensive backs technically on the field a lot. 40% of their defensive plays last week, they were in dime with 1 linebacker, just Foye Oluokun, and 6 defensive backs. And what it's creating is in obvious passing situations, he's just getting their best athletes out there, right? Devin Lloyd only played 22 snaps last week. He's really using everybody at linebacker other than Oluokun in more neutral situations. If we get an obvious passing downs, and with the Bengals, there's probably going to be a lot of them with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, he's going to put his best athletes on the field. I think the interesting guy in this defense right now is Andrew Wingard, number 42, the strong safety, kind of linebacker-ish hybrid. He's this flexible player that they use all over the place in this defense, and even in those dime sets operates as their second linebacker. Anthony Campanile's putting speed on the field that he wants to prevent explosive passes. It was the biggest problem for the Jaguars last year. He's doing it with more defensive backs. Again, 40% of the time he had 6 defensive backs on the field last week. And one of the big problems last year in Jacksonville was way too much man coverage when they did not have the personnel to do it. This year, at least in 1 week so far, 5th highest zone coverage rate in the league. They're sitting back. They're preventing explosives. That's the goal of this defense in obvious passing situations. So when the Bengals get in those longer situations where Joe Burrow's going to sit back there and throw the football, the Jags are going to have a lot of defensive backs on the field. You're going to see a lot of zone coverage, and they're trying to improve their team's speed when it comes to obvious passing situations on defense.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how effective the Jags are at that emphasis of limiting those explosive plays in the pass game, because I'm going to be honest with you, Dalton, I think this game could be a shootout. I really do. Obviously, the Bengals, the firepower that they have on offense, it goes without saying. And they did not have a great week last week, but you said when they play Cleveland, especially in Cleveland, you just kind of throw everything out. That's not really the true identity of the Bengals. They just really struggle beating that team and staying true to their identity, being very explosive, Bengals, especially with this being their home opener. But on the other side of things as well, I think we could have fireworks from the Jags offense. I think the Jags, okay, it's game 1 of Liam Cohen being the offensive coordinator. They win the game. They look pretty good. Trevor Lawrence says afterwards how confident he felt in everything that he was seeing because he felt like the game plan was so on point. I feel like as the game was going on, he was able to recognize things that the Carolina defense was doing. He just felt very prepared. And obviously, Liam Cohen is somebody who saw the Carolina Panthers twice last year as the Bucs offensive coordinator, so he sort of knew them well. He knew their defensive structure, what they were trying to do. So I think it was a good first game for them. But even with that win against Carolina, Brian Thomas Jr., 7 targets, 1 catch, 11 yards, had a drop, just a 50.3 receiving grade. Travis Hunter, 8 targets, 6 catches, but only 33 yards. He had a drop himself and 55.3 receiving grade. I think that these two could be in for a massive game now, especially if it starts to become that sort of shootout with Cincinnati and they're really starting to dial up more of those explosive plays. You know that those two are going to have a better game. And then I'm specifically looking at what happened to the Bengals defense last week. They were able to defend the run really well against the Cleveland Browns, but what they weren't able to do well was defend Dylan Sampson as a receiver out of the backfield. 8 targets, 8 catches, 62 receiving yards, and then I think it was a 92.4 receiving grade is what Dylan Sampson had. Travis Etienne, we know that he is going to be the RB1 now on that team with Tank Bigsby now traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. They do have LeQuint now, and they do have Bashal Tutin, but Travis Etienne can kind of do it all. He's not just a rusher, he's also a really experienced receiver. So I think this could be a game where even he has a big output as a wide receiver, or just a receiver out of the backfield, I should say. So the Jags have the rest. They have all of the ingredients. They have the quarterback who wants to throw it deep. They've got the 2 wide receivers that they know they have the athletic ability that are coming off lower than expected or standard production. They've got a running back out of the backfield who knows how to catch, and they've got an offensive coordinator who is willing to be aggressive and wants to score a lot of points in Liam Cohen. That going up against one of the highest potential offenses in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals, especially with them being at home, I think we're in for some fireworks here. I've got the Bengals winning this game 35-33, though. I think that this is a high-scoring game between these two teams.
So I think there's a potential for a high-scoring game, but I'm intrigued with the idea that Liam Cohen is going to try to slow this game down. He's going to try to play, again, a lot of zone coverage from Anthony Campanile to try to just keep things in front of you. I think that's the big theme right now for the Jags defense. Keep things in front of you, and if Josh Hines-Allen can win the game with the pass rush, then so be it. But if nothing else, don't get beat over the top like we did last year. You can tell that's the big emphasis. On the other side, I think the Bengals are going to have things figured out a little bit more. Right? Again, I'm throwing away the Cleveland stats. I don't think there's anything actually fundamentally wrong with their offense. And with the different looks and the different personnel that the Jags are going to throw at Joe Burrow, I just think with the zone coverage, he's maybe the best processor in the whole league. I think he's going to be able to see what's going on out here. I do think he's going to get nickel and dimed a little bit. I think the Jags are going to do everything they can to not let Higgins and Chase get over the top. I have it a little lower with a little lower score than you do. I think this is going to be more of a ball control game than you think. Cincinnati 24, Jacksonville 21. I will acknowledge, though, there is the potential if the Jags don't get a pass rush and Joe Burrow's just having one of those A-plus days where he's seeing everything you're doing in coverage, I think they've got the higher ceiling. The Jaguars offense, to me, they have the ingredients, but you got to make the cake, and it's still a work in progress right now. Last week, the Panthers defense, we know the Bengals defense is a work in progress too, but they looked pretty good last week. I think Cincinnati gets it done 24-21, maybe a little lower scoring than you have it.
Nah, they're baking the cake, baby. Preheat the oven, 350. We're about to make a beautiful
They're in the preheat phase. You know that takes like 20 minutes. Depending on your oven, my oven takes forever. I can't stand cooking in the oven in my place. I need a new oven. I'm moving next week, so I'm getting a new oven. What am I saying?
It better be a new oven.
I'm the idiot that moves apartments during football season too. That's brilliant on my part.
Yeah, when's your last day that you are in your apartment?
I'm trying to move out next Thursday, so I'm getting through all our shows next week.
Okay.
And then I'm trying, but we'll see. There's some other complications in that too, of course, because that's we're gonna have a fun time. Next week will be fun. If I look like I've had absolutely no sleep next week, you'll know why. Feels good.
Yeah, the Dalton time to sleep is gonna be, if you thought it was rough before, it's gonna be rough.
Average time to sleep. We're gonna get a stat from the guys back there. They got a graphic for us. So average time to sleep 8 seconds. Yeah,
it's gonna be worth it because you're gonna have a new oven. That's what I'm learning.
That's all we need. Honestly, I'm an air fryer guy anyway. Screw it. Whatever.
That's true. That is true. Air fryers.
Good invention. Love it. Whoever invented that, thank you.
Top 10 invention.
Yep.
Fire, the wheel, air fryer. It's got to be.
But we don't even need fire anymore. We have an air fryer. It's made fire obsolete. We're good. See that? Simple.
It's just an upgrade.